Welcome to this week's Sandpile. We have Simon Moore from Pixel Together, which we heard about. Ursula mentioned it a Sandpile or two ago, so I'm pretty excited to see what a formal presentation of what the platform has to offer. I've had a look through the site myself, and I'm looking forward to see what we have here. So take it away, Simon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave. I'll just share my screen here. Basically, just got a really short few slides to show you guys just about what is Pixel Together, and then the whole presentation I plan it to be using real examples, so real sites actually within the tool itself. So I don't want to spend much time in presentation mode, but if you have any questions, I want this to be as interactive as possible, so please feel free to shoot those through. So I'll just share my presentation here. Okay, so what is Pixel Together? So we're actually from an agency background ourselves. We used to run a software development and design agency here in Melbourne, Australia, back in 2011. And we basically created Pixel Together because we wanted the platform ourselves. We found that more and more, we were getting frustrated with as the responsive wave came through, we found it was much more difficult to create the sites that you envisioned yourself. So it was a lot easier when you're dealing with just a desktop layout. But basically the wave was, as mobile and tablet became critical, it was just far easier to lock down everything and just have really similar grid or block-like sites that just all behave the same way. And this is just in the background here, these are all sites on a particular template. There's actually hundreds of thousands that all look kind of exactly like this on one of the major builders. You can kind of guess which one that is. And in this case, you can see it's just even too hard to change the button color or to move that center button. So our real focus has been on flexibility. We started off with design flexibility, and now we're moving more into a phase of bringing more power tools into the platform. So things like analytics and form builders and that sort of thing. So we've been live for, I skipped ahead a bit there, but yeah, basically what we've done is taken that flexibility, but made it apply in the responsive web. So you can have the same flexibility you might have had even using a tool a long time ago like Dreamweaver, but it actually has the power and responsiveness of the new web. While we have a strong focus on custom sites and sites that are not template-based, you can also use our starting points. And our starting points are not very flexible. Again, you don't have to take a whole site. That's often the problem with a template. A template, often you're locking into a whole site design. So we have the ability for you to create sections, what we call, and to build up your own library of starting points that really improves your workflow over time and makes it faster for you to roll out sites for your customers. So 3 years in, we have 16,000 sites that have been created on the platform, and this is what we're really most proud of. The sites are so diverse, and the sites really look like their brands, and they represent their brands. We have a lot of professionals on the platform, right up to enterprise. So we have some very large companies using Pixel Together internally to create micro-sites and sales proposals as well. So this is what I thought for today. I've just sketched out a loose agenda. I'm more than happy to jump around if you guys want to see different things, but I've just given an overview there. I thought I'd start with some example sites, just again to give you a flavor of what's possible. Then skip to our dashboard. That's where you manage all of your websites. Then the editor itself. I want to spend a bit of time there because that is truly our greatest strength, is our editor. We then have specific plans for agencies. Coming from the agency background ourselves, we've structured these plans to really allow you guys to save more over time, essentially. So it's not a flat rate per site. The prices actually go down as you have more sites with us. We have a migration service for VC sites. We've already been bringing a number of VC partners on board and migrating sites. So I'm going to show you a before and after from Ursula, if you know Ursula. We've just done her first site. Then cover the technical features, our hosting and SSL, advanced CMS features, And that's really what we're focusing on building out now, is more of the power features. Our form builder, which we launched recently, e-commerce and analytics. How does that sound for a structure?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so let's jump in. I'm going to switch now to my browser. Is that all looking okay?
It's good. I don't know if you're able to make it any wider, Simon.
Okay, yeah.
It seems tall and narrow. There you go.
Okay, cool.
That looks better to me, anyway.
Nice one. So the first example site I want to show you guys is our own website. It's kind of ironic to us that a lot of website builders don't use their own tool to build their website. So our website is created 100% in Pixel Together. All the animations, all of the responsiveness is all out of the box. There's nothing custom here whatsoever, and that just takes you through some of our the features there. You can see how it responds. It's quite hyper responsive, we call it. You know, it's not just limited to the grid collapse. You can do quite creative responsiveness with really minimal effort. We've got tools specifically for that scenario. So that's our website. Just going to jump into a few more. This is another website. This is for Blackbird Ventures, blackbird.vc. This is another cool layout for one of the biggest venture capitalist companies here in Australia. It's a simple one-pager, but we like how that looks. This site here is the Modernist House. It's in the United Kingdom. It's a really cool magazine layout from a designer that's coming from more of a print background, didn't have any web skills whatsoever, and has now taken his magazines online to the web, and making use of our animation features there. And they're going to go over to Ireland. This is a drone company in Belfast. They're more of a startup called Flight. And they're basically showcasing their app here. We've got a drone flying down the page. The drone flying down the page, that's the only thing custom here. It's a little Bezier curve animation that we supplied for that, but the rest of it is all out of the box. And that's another good point to note here, is that we offer additional support. If you need something custom developed, we can add that for you for just a once-off fee. So it's typically some small things rather than having to worry about. Most things are largely out of the box with Pixel Together. In this case, it's just that drone path. I'm going to show you an agency website. This is a Virtue Design website in the UK. And they're running the white label. So you can see they've got the client login here. So that's what the white label looks like. So their clients are using our white label features. So your clients can log into your own platform rather than logging into Pixel Together. Raspberry software. This is quite a nice site using some parallax features here. Quite a clean site. 4G LED. This is a manufacturer of light globes, and they're using this nice sort of product catalog style with the galleries here and featuring their LED light globes. This is all completely out of the box Pixel Together. Just got two more to go. This is more of a corporate site. This is a Visa rewards cards website. And they've used what we call a custom widget, which is a bit like the Business Catalyst web apps, I guess, which is, we don't have an interface for that yet, but we can develop custom widgets for you guys if needed. In this case, it's a selection process to recommend which card to purchase. So it recommends one of those sort of gift reward cards that you can do. So that's more of a corporate style card, website, sorry, with a contact form here at the bottom to manage requests. And that's it. They were the sort of the range. Just to give you a flavor, like I said, there's thousands of websites on there, and they're very diverse. And what we love is that they represent the style the customer wants. And that doesn't have to be You always hear beautiful website, stunning website. It doesn't have to be a plumber or a construction site. They might not want that, and that's what you can do in Pixel Together. It's not a one size fits all. It's basically what suits the needs of your customers. Cool. So the next thing I wanted to jump into was the dashboard. So this is my dashboard. I obviously have a lot of websites here. So every one of these blocks is a website. So I wanted to take an example and let's jump back here. So show you some of the features of the dashboard itself. So I'm going to use this example just to give you another real example of the site we did recently for Ursula, which is a Seaview podiatry website. So this is currently in Business Catalyst. This is a Business Catalyst version. This is a Pixel Together. So this is a Pixel Together version here. So before I get into the editor, you can see each one of these is a page. The page here. Then you have the overall settings for the site. So in this case, you have your users. So we have one of our designers is on here. I'm on here. You could add roles, like you can add a viewer role if you want to give your client just view access but not edit. This is where you attach your domains. We haven't gone live yet, so this is just in the final client stages of review. But here you can attach your domains, set whether you want a www prefix or not. That's all automatic. SSL is included on every site plan. So that's as soon as your domain's attached, we provision a free SSL certificate. You can update the Favicon, connect Google Analytics. We have a couple of e-commerce options, which I'll come to later. And then if you're somebody that likes to code or wants to do something more advanced, we have a number of coding options. You can basically embed code anywhere on the site. And this is to embed code in the head. So these three are global. If you want to do global changes, code changes, so then you can also do that per page. So this is doing head code globally. Sometimes you want the code directly after the body tag. Sometimes you want it directly before the closing tag. And then if you want it actually within the HTML, you do that in the editor. We have secure features here. So site password, and you can generate exports, which is something quite unique about Pixel Together. You can export your site at any time to HTML, CSS, JS, so you're not locked in. If you need to host somewhere else, you can. We obviously recommend you host with us because then you get all the benefits of that. It comes with our editor, but you don't have to worry about never being able to get out of Pixel Together if you want to, which I'm sure is relevant to you guys at this point in time. So let's jump into the editor now. So this is Seaview Podiatry. I'm going to use this just because it's a real Pixel Business Catalyst migration. And what you see is we try and keep the editor we try and make it as nice to use as possible because you're going to be in there a lot. So you can see the interface is deceptively simple. There's not a lot of controls that you have to sort of figure out to start with. You can literally, if you want to, you can start moving things around. If I wanted to start, if I wanted to just move these elements here up a bit, I could. I feel like they would work better here. In this case, we've got some animations turned on. So when you load the site, just a basic kind of nice transition here. If I felt I wanted to change that, I'd simply go into the animation tab and change the way that looks there. If I wanted to resize that a bit, maybe make more of an effect there, that's all just simply drag and drop. But I'm not breaking anything in the other layouts here by doing that, because the way it works is the content is shared across the three layouts, but the design is independent, essentially. So if I go, welcome to group podiatry, Adelaide, for example, and then I go over here, it's good. The content is going to come across, but the design stays intact. And that's really the key thing, the way we've been able to achieve this idea of flexibility plus responsive is through the concept of shared content, independent design. And also, our sites are quite structured into these sections. So that's a section, you can see that's the header section, the hamburger, image, etc. here. So if I want to change something in a section, so say for example, I may want to add a background color there. I want to add a background color. That's not a, we can do that quite easily. Some opacity on that. That's all applies to just that section. And that's quite powerful as well because you can move things around, you can duplicate sections. So say I want a second feature image there, I can just duplicate that really easily. I might want to move that down the page. There it is right there. So it's quite powerful. And that's what I mentioned earlier, when you can build up your library of reusable layouts, that's how you do that. So we give you a set to start with. We give you a bunch of layouts, but if you guys are running your own web design development businesses, what we would see is you start building up your own library of reusable layouts. So you might have certain header styles you like, or certain footers, certain grid views. And then it's simply a case of clicking on a reusable layout to bring that in. So that's like a speaker layout there. There's all sorts. So I've got quite a lot here. Some cafe ones here. Good cafe one. There's a cafe website. You can go to town here with creating your own layouts. What else can I show you here? So section sharing. So in the case of a header, we use a shared section feature, which means that that's across all the pages on the site. So it's really a content management method. You can obviously set image backgrounds. You can say, in this case, I have the images full width. If I wanted to make that fixed width to fit in, that's possible too. So now that's a fixed width section background. We have a lot of linking sort of interaction features. You can link to things like you can hide and show a light box. Hide and show a section in the case of a hamburger menu, for example. Documents, you can upload documents for download, phone numbers, email addresses, etc. Any questions on the editor?
There's just one question so far. There, Sirocco has asked, where are you hosting these sites? And after that, what does BC have that the Pixel Together does not?
Cool, great question. So our hosting, we have very high-end hosting on Amazon. We actually run dual content delivery networks on CloudFront. And we do that because it just, you get some browser locking if you have one content delivery network. So that really speeds it up even more than having one. So it's very premium hosting, all on Amazon. We're 100% Amazon, essentially. What does BC have that we don't? So the CRM side. So we do have our contact form, and we're building that out into more advanced customer management features, but we don't have a full-blown CRM at this point. Mostly what our users do is plug in an external CRM, but we work very well with a number of other CRMs. But if you want to just do a contact form and capture people's email names and email addresses, that's all there. And that's evolving. That's something, especially now we're bringing on more BC partners, and they're talking to us about some of the features that we don't have, which is really the CRM and the web apps. The web apps was the other one I mentioned earlier. We've got our own, like I said, we can develop widgets custom, but we don't have a visual web app builder like BC does.
Okay, seems to be some questions about where the actual Amazon server is. I think there's some concern that they want it to be in Australia, or one of them anyway.
Okay, we've got both. We've actually got both. So we've got one set of servers in California, which is our biggest servers, and then we have another set in Sydney. Typically, the Sydney servers have only been for our Australian enterprise customers who required the data to be hosted in Australia, but I'm happy to talk to anyone about getting onto that Australian version if you prefer.
Okay, cool. Carry on, and there's a couple more questions, but I think you're going to cover them as we go through, so I'll keep tabs on them.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm going to jump out of here. I'm definitely not going to save Ursula's website here. I wanted to jump into our plans and our pricing. I'm just going to bring up our agencies plan page. This is on our public website. So there's an opt-in path for our plans. You don't have to even start on an agency plan. You can start on a single site plan, and there's an upgrade path to agency. So if you want to trial one website, you can start on our more consumer pricing, which is here. But once you get past one site, so this is for a single site, it's typically you'd be on the site plan, which is $15 paid yearly or 20 month. From there, these are really designed to save you guys money. It's more of a wholesaling model, so that the prices reduce over time, and that just allows you to charge the prices that you want to charge. So we don't dictate any pricing there, but we see ourselves as more of a wholesaler to agencies, and you can see here 45 for 5 sites. All 3 of these come with a white labeled site too, so you get a bonus site. If you remember earlier, I showed you that virtual design website. Most people run their own website using the white label, and then they get either 5, 10, or 25 client sites. And once you get to that level, we continue that pricing. So all agency plans come with white labeling. You've seen that briefly, but that follows through everything. So our help desk is white labeled. So down here, we've got an extensive help desk with videos, images, everything. It's actually quite an undertaking, because we did one cut of the help library, then realized we needed a white labeled version. So we had to reshoot all the videos to not mention Pixel Together. So they're all completely white labeled. Website Assist is our domain name that all the emails come from if you're on the white labeled version. It's just the generic white label platform here. So we have a great help library that you can use, or your clients can use. Global CDN hosting I talked about, and then SSL security as standard. And then essentially, once you're on an agency plan, you get every single feature. So that's all of these features here. There's nothing you don't get, except, so the only difference between enterprise is custom hosting arrangements in terms of hosting in a particular country, or any sort of custom service level agreements or contracts, that sort of thing. So this is typically for our large corporate clients, but we do already have an Australian instance, so I am happy to talk to anybody about that. But we do offer the option to set up instances in other regions on top of that. But like I said, all the CDN in terms of serving the sites is all global anyway. So all the sites are served completely globally. That's agency plans. Okay, migration service. So we've got a design team, but they're also kind of they're a customer success team. So what they do is cut over sites for people. And because of the way the editor works, and we don't have a lot of restrictions, it's quite easy for us to cut over sites, as long as they're not too massive. I will say there is a limit to the size that we can support. We've done up to a 300-page site before. We have done it, but I think that's too big. I think 100 pages is pushing it. It can be done. Anything less than 30 to 50, perfectly fine. 10 to 30 is our absolute sweet spot. They're perfect for Pixel Together. And yeah, even up to 100 pages is pretty good. But basically, this was a 26-page site that was really straightforward to cut over. We did it. This was like $150 to cut this over. And we're happy to offer those sort of prices. We can give you a quote based on how big the site is. That's really what it comes down to. And we're happy to turn those over pretty quickly. But we're doing that. That's our real offer. I know people are doing offers for BC partners, and our offer is really the form of the migration. We're essentially running that at cost price just to get you guys over as easily as possible. So our special offer is in the migration services and the custom support that we'll give you to get on board. So that's our migration service. We're happy to quote for free. So if you send me any sites you want us to quote on, it's simon@pixeltogether.com. We're happy to give quotes, and we turn those around in days, not weeks.
Sorry, just quickly, there was a question from Ray. He wanted to know if you're on the 10 site plan and you add an 11th site, what is the pricing for the 11th site? Does it continue at the 10 level, or does, yeah?
Yeah, this is a bit of a slight flaw in our plans at the moment. What we've been doing is things like allowing people to buy another 5-site bundle and then merging. It is a bit of a jump we've found, so I think we'll probably bring another level in the middle here. But yeah, you can easily add another 5-site bundle and then merge. That's easily done. Yeah.
Okay, and then I think you're right. I think you're right. Then back into the editor, there's some folks who are interested in, code view and dynamic variable. If you can discuss that some more. So I think we'll move back to the editor.
Okay, cool. I think I must have closed it down. Just reopen it up again. Actually, I think if you want to see dynamic variables, I'm going to go into a new site that I created for you for this presentation. Just jump out of here. So I think we're moving into the more advanced CMS features now, so variables, coding, etc. So let's go into that. So basically Sandpile demo. Okay. So site variables are really a way of, this is a completely from scratch site here. Site variables are a way to templatize your websites. And they're used a lot if you're doing common websites or even if you've got some pieces of content that you want to be easily updated. It could even be the year in the footer, for example. So you could say, and some of our customers do their sales proposals. That's actually a big use case. Creating sales proposals as online password protected sites. And that really allows, it's a much more, modern, especially for a large project, it's a much more modern entry to receiving a proposal. So in that case, if you have a proposal template, you can use our duplicate feature and simply duplicate the proposal and then use the customer variables the site variables to change things like the customer name. So the way they work is they're in this format. This is your customer, for example. If I have something like that, this is Sandpile. So I haven't populated that yet, but if I go into settings here and I say add a variable, my customer is the BC Sandpile, then that's just rolled out across the site there. This is BC Sandpile. This is BC community. That sort of thing. So you can imagine if you've got lots of different variables there, you might have the year. Oops. Whatever you want to do there. And this is something we're really, really starting to evolve further. So we're bringing a lot more of these power features. Other things we have. So duplicate. It's a one-click duplicate. I've just duplicated that. Go to publish. This is your BC Sandpile. It's also a one-click duplicate of the entire site. So if I want to duplicate that entire website, I can duplicate that. I've just made an entire new website, and that can be live with one click. So again, it's designed to speed up your workflow over time as you do more with the platform. Coding, you asked about coding. Yep, so coding. So obviously I showed you the things that are outside of the editor before, the things like the head code and the body, which is often used for embedding third-party tools. We also have our HTML code widget. This can be basically used for anything. You can just drag code in and it'll just get added to the structure there. So, you know, if I want to do something, you know, you can put classes. The other thing I shouldn't do before I jump into that is say, you can put a custom class on here. So if I want to say this is like, you know, main heading, for example, I can then start to apply CSS that tackles that main heading. So for example, if you want to set up a style sheet with, you know, hover effects on the main heading, that's something you can target. So it's often used if I have buttons. So let's just get rid of this. If I was, let's move this down. Say I had button was, you know, home. Just turn that off. So it's just a pure text button. All right, so I could have home about, etc. Contact. I might then want to set up a, you know, button header class on those. Something like that. And then I can target, you know, when you hover on that, if I want that to turn blue, I can then target that class, the button header class, in my style sheet. Does that make sense? That's how we
it does. It does. Other than where is the style sheet?
Yeah, good question. So basically, the style sheet is out here. So in our settings section, there's two places you can put it. You can put a style sheet just for a page, or you can put a global style sheet up here.
Cool, that makes sense.
A
couple more questions about dynamic variables since you're on that. Could you put JavaScript in a dynamic variable? Or the other question is, could you use a dynamic variable to do an API call to another service?
The way we do API calls is through, again, the code. So we've done them quite regularly. So you can make a JavaScript call here to any third-party API. We've used them for things like do quite a lot of, you know, construction websites where they might have an index of the fleet, for example. So we don't use the variables for that, but that's completely doable through through this code section, and we can help with any setup on that. What was the second question?
Oh, can you use JavaScript within a dynamic variable?
That's a great question. Not at the moment, but that's definitely something you're thinking you want to do some sort of.
I don't know I don't know why he's asking that. He just asked it, and I would use an HTML block probably myself and just insert a script tag, right? But I guess if you wanted it on every page, that might make the difference. But then why not put it in the footer or one of those other containers that you showed us, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we'd use it's still an interesting question, I think, but there might be some scenario for that. But I think, yeah, you can, the shared section is not restricted to headers and footers. You can use them as much as you want. And they don't have to be on every page either. You could have them on half of your pages. So I could insert some, you know, JavaScript in here if I wanted to.
He's clarified, like, for instance, a copyright year that auto updates.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so for that, you can easily do, you know, copyright. I'll just jump into preview. You can do copyright, whatever, yeah, like that. And that will come from the site variable. That's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Cool. And then the only other outstanding question is, how do you do custom layouts?
Great question. Yeah. Well, I want to save this.
You got about 20, 25 minutes left, so we're doing good.
Cool. Okay. Let's do a custom layout. So there's actually 3 types of pages: page, post, and then layout. Post is for blog posts, but it's more than that. It can be used for things like product catalogs. I think I showed you that for the 4G LED example earlier. But let's create a custom layout. Okay. Let's go in and what should I do here? I'll just do a header paragraph. Really simple. So we do custom. This is your custom layout. Cool. Straightforward. Okay. Custom layout. So essentially, creating a custom layout is just the same as creating a special type of section, is the point there. And then what happens then is they'll get sucked in dynamically into this section here. And you'll be able to pull them on. I've got quite a lot of layouts here. Custom layout. There it is. There it is. So I'm just reusing that layout now. Super easy. Forms, I didn't cover forms. We've got a really nice form builder that's all in the spirit of Pixel Together, which is about making it really easy to use, but also flexible. So I can add fields here, just automatically go in. And we're rolling out more options for this. Mind your field there. Can simply change that. We're bringing in more types. This is a pretty new feature we have here, our form builder. And you can set up, who do you want the email to come from, what you want the subject to be, if you want some body text, and then what you want the button to be, let's just submit whatever it is. And then you can set up, who you want the email address, who do you want that to be sent to? In this case, put it as myself. And yeah, that's all you need to do to get a form up. See Sandpile. There we are. And then you can view analytics. We created our own analytics. Obviously not getting a lot of traffic today as yet, but we created this to not be a Google Analytics replacement. Google Analytics is still obviously worth plugging in, but we just found this was a nice, simple way, especially for your clients to see what's happening on their site without having to go through a Google Analytics course. So it's just a real nice, simple dashboard showing how many hits you're getting and by what browsers and what device types. Form builder. Cool. I think I've covered. Just jump back in the editor and do a last look through.
There's some interest in, is there a full page HTML editor?
Not a full page, but you can get into any part of the page. So you can get into a layer. So if I want to drag on some HTML in my layout here, you can see that's a code layer here, and I can move that around. That will change the order in the HTML. And then if I want to get into the body, that's all out of there.
Okay, I think they're really after, like, can you get to the whole, like if you did view source on the page, can you get to that level of HTML?
No, you can't. You can't because we don't want you can't break the HTML at the moment basically. So we make sure that the HTML is perfectly safe.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
more.
I go ahead.
Yeah. So no, we don't allow that. If there's something you're trying to achieve, let me know and I can see if, how we would tackle that. But no, we're really predominantly focused on the visual editor. But then you can add code when you need to, basically. But we are primarily a visual editor rather than a code-based.
Okay. They also asked how to access things like page titles or metadata for SEO. How is that added?
Yes, good question. So, okay, yeah, we haven't gone to page settings yet. So page settings is where you do that. So that's page name is the title. And this is my metadata. There. And then, again, if you want some custom code specifically to a page, that's where you do that. You can also set a password for a page. I just put a password on there. Page password. Publish.
Is that a global password, or can you do it per? I guess there's no real CRM, so you can't really do it per user, can you?
Well, yeah, we have the viewer option. It hasn't had much use, but yeah, we have that viewer role. So we're working towards like a full-blown membership system there.
Okay.
But we have the viewer role, but the passwords at the moment are either for a page or for the whole site.
I don't know that we have time for this today, but someone's asked if you could do a demo of uploading a custom website design via a zip file or something similar. I'm not sure that's possible today.
We don't upload, so we don't. There's no. We abstract all that technical aspects. I should probably go into that as well, as it's not a. It's a completely managed service. So we do all of the security upgrades. We do regular security testing. We keep all the software up to date. So we don't.
That's the migration service you talked about before. So yeah, okay.
I guess that example I showed is the best example where we didn't even need the code in that case, where we were able to migrate it from the website itself. We'd only need to know about things that are not visible. So if there's things like pages that are hidden, that sort of thing, that's what we need to know as part of the migration. But for the sites we've been migrating to date, we've been able to take it all from the website itself. Analytics I've shown you. E-commerce. So e-commerce. So we embed with two third parties, eQuid and Snipcart, and I was going to show you what they look like. They've got different strengths. Snipcart is more of a has more design flexibility, but the fees are higher, and there's more flexibility in Snipcart. eQuid's really simple. You can load a product catalog into it, super simple, and it's got a free tier as well. So they're both good options. For a lot of stores, eQuid is really sufficient, and it's very cost effective as well. So this is one of our customers doing a running website, Educated Running, and they sell recurring subscriptions using our Snipcart integration. So we don't have our own e-commerce, but we integrate with two systems, and we're looking at other systems as well. And they both support Stripe and all that sort of thing. Lots of features there. This is what a shopping cart looks like in Snipcart. It has both once-off purchases as well as recurring. And then I was just going to show you our demo of eQuid. eQuid's a lot simpler. It's just like more of a standard shopping cart, but it's very straightforward. You can load a lot of products into it really easily. That's how we handle e-commerce.
What about things like maybe email marketing? Is that possible there?
I'm getting some light here.
Or do you connect to MailChimp, or like how is that handled on Pixel Together?
We connect to everything. So lots of third parties, MailChimp, Autopilot. There's been a wide range used. So we don't have our own email marketing, but we've used so many third parties, and it's all really easily embeddable. MailChimp's by far the most popular, but there's plenty of others, Vero, Autopilot.
Okay.
I think I've actually
Ray's asked what I was thinking was, which was the blog actually. What does the blog look like on this one?
yeah, cool. So we have, let's check out the blog.
And while you're doing that, I'm just going to say, if I haven't asked your question, could you just retype it? I believe I've got them all, but.
Cool. I'm just going to close my blind slightly. It's just getting some sun in the eye. Getting some morning sun here. Okay, so the blog is sort of the third type of page type that I mentioned, the post. So blog post 1. So what you can do is set up a blog layout. I won't do that now, but you can set up a layout for your blog. Then they get managed here. So you end up with a list of your blog posts here. And then what we have is a special section type called an index. And that will automatically index from your blog posts. So if you have, so let me think of one, writer, good author. She does quite a lot of blogging. So basically you can pull in dynamic indexes.
So if you were using the posts for two different things, for blog posts and say for the e-commerce things, do they get mixed up in the same list there, or can you separate them out?
Awesome question. So we have a tags feature. So what you do is you go into a post and you can tag it, and then you can filter the blog index. Okay. So in that case, I could add a tag for blog versus product. So here I can have a tag for this is a blog, and then when I create my blog index, I can filter based on the type. And there's other filters you can apply. You can take the top 3 if you want to have a section on your homepage showing the latest 3 posts. So I'll just quickly go into back to the homepage. And if I have an index type, we also have a lightbox and slideshow I should probably cover. So index, you can index based on the posts or pages. Newest to oldest, oldest to newest, number per section. So you can have as many posts as you want, but you can do a single, 1 per row, or you can do 2 per row or 3 in the grid. That's what that's for. And then the index filter here is where you can do filters like tag equals blog or tag equals product. That's how you would filter that.
So if I put 3 across in this particular layout, when I went to the tablet, do I need to then set that section up so it's say 2 across and the phone 1 across, or does it auto take care of that?
You would stack it. So you would have. So what's Samantha done here? So this is a 3, and I think that collapses. Yeah, that collapses to a 3 and then to a single. That's an example. So you only have to set it up once. You'd set up one section that would have them arranged in a row on the tablet and desktop, and then stacked underneath each other on the mobile. And then every time you add a post, it would just come through like this. And you can style it any way you want. You don't have to have it like this. You don't have to have the date unless you want to. But that's an example. I just realized I haven't shown you our slideshow or galleries. I think I quickly showed you the gallery on the Light website, but we have a couple of different types of slideshows. We have your traditional sliding slideshow, but ours work a bit differently in that you can really style each slide, any way you want. So you don't just have to have an image and text. You can lay out that slide any way you feel like it. Interiors, thinking of good examples. That's a classic single image slide, but it doesn't have to be like that. So you can simply turn that on in here as a slideshow, and that will become a slideshow. You can then add slides. If I want to add a background to that slide, just to quickly demo what's possible. Add a second slide here. So I've currently got 2 slides. I forgot what my password was. You turn that off. Okay, so it's a real simple slider. You can then do, with a single click, you can turn that into a banner slider. So that's a slider like that, a full width slider. If I wanted to be that more contained, I could do a fixed width slider. It's now contained within that section. And then if I wanted to make that an infinite loop, which is really a banner. And it's a sliding banner. I can control the speed of that. Faster. That's a banner example.
Can you animate the text on that slide? So as say the slide slides in and then the text comes down from the top or the side or whatever. I think that's what Mary asked.
Yeah, you see that? It's pretty. I'll do it on the first slide. You want it to come in from the top? Let's bring it in from the top. 100 pixels from the top. I'll put a delay on that and make that go for 3 seconds.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Barbara asked for e-commerce. If in your navigation menu, could say you sell clothing, could I have a nav item that linked directly to t-shirts, or do I have to take them to the storefront and then to the categories?
Yep, we've got a URL format. You can do /tag/ whatever it is, so /tag/ clothing, or /tag/ post, whatever it is. So that's fine, and it will filter the list based on that category.
Okay.
We also have our gallery. You can just basically we've got 2 types of this at present, standard and thumbnail. You can just switch that. The other point, just a broader point I wanted to make is that our roadmap is entirely community driven. So we're at a really nice point now where we've got it's been 4 years of development to get to this point of the platform, and now we're really bringing in more advanced, more powerful features. So we're about to release an icon library, That's at the very last stage of the development. So there's going to be a fourth tab here where you can just drag on icons and just change the colors and resize them super easy. But we're very much open to what the priority, especially with now we're having more VC partners coming on. If there's certain features you'd like to see, we'll definitely take that seriously. And we roll out features every single month.
Okay. Mary also wants to know the gallery, which light box is being used there.
Like which? I'll show you,
So if you put in a gallery, I'm assuming there's a light box. Which light box is it?
Yeah, let me show you a real gallery. So the full screen view, do you mean like this? Can you see that?
Yeah.
It's a photo swap gallery. It's real nice. So you can you can zoom, you can move in, you can go to full screen mode. We also have a lightbox feature on top of that, which I haven't covered yet, which is you can set a section to be a lightbox itself. So my lightbox, so I've set that to a lightbox. I can then create a button to open my lightbox. How to show lightbox. Here's my lightbox. And then I add another button. You probably do this with an X, which is going to be, but I'll just do it with a simple button for now. Lightbox. I'm going to close my lightbox. See, over my, I need to set a background on that. Let me make that a color. I don't know what you guys have found, but I found lightboxes to be always quite painful to create, and this is really, really straightforward. That's the lightbox I just created.
Cool.
Yeah.
In the last few minutes here, got a couple minutes left. Could you talk about the training and what training is available? How does someone learn how to use Pixel Together?
Yeah, so we've got a very extensive help library here. We have videos, so we have it starts with an introductory video, and you can continue to go forward. So you can search for anything you're trying to do. We're also happy with any agency plan. We're happy to set up some one-on-one, training over video, and have our design team, walk you through personally.
It's kind of more what I was looking for. This is the same training that you have an end client use. It was more from the agency side I was interested in. So
yeah, more than happy to set up online training with our design team.
Okay. And do you have it's not a fair question, but do you have a rough number for, say, migrating a 20-page site?
It would be a couple $100.
Yeah. That was the impression I got from Ursula. That's incredibly reasonable, really. If you think about a 20-page site, having to move it across to a new platform, that's incredibly good value.
Yeah, thank you. That's, like I said, that's the deal we're doing. It's a special BC partner site. We're going to make it as easy as possible for you guys. So it's our special deal for you.
Yeah, thank you. I think I got that. It's not everybody gets that, but that's to help the partners get across, and of course to build your platform and all the rest of that. I mean, we're all grown-ups here. It's a business after all. But cool. Well, if there's any last questions, throw them in the chat there, or grab the mic if you want to say them out loud, and that'll bring us to the end of the hour here. So.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Ursula.
You get to see the inside of Ursula's thumb. That's always good.
That's it, yeah.
She's flexing. Look at the muscles in that thumb. She must text a lot. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's hard in just an hour. It's hard to cover everything. I can certainly appreciate that. So, I think that's a decent overview. And I guess if anybody wants to go a little deeper dive into it, they can just contact you directly and set up a kind of a one-on-one session.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks so much for having me speak today. Also, we have a free trial. I definitely encourage you can jump on board and set up a completely free trial and trial the platform for yourself, and shoot any questions you have to our help desk, and we'll help you with whatever you're trying to achieve.
Excellent. Well, thanks once again. I'm going to leave the room open here for a few minutes in case somebody has some final questions for Simon. But other than that, that's the end of our regular time here. And I appreciate Simon, you coming out and presenting Pixel Together, and everyone else for showing up.
Thanks, Dave. Sure you're in a backyard, Ursula? Look like you're
That's just plain entertaining.
Next Airbnb guest. Okay. Good multitasking skills there.
Yeah, it looks like that's it, and folks are leaving here, so I'm gonna close it off. Thanks again, Simon.
Thanks, Dave. See you. Bye all.